were tough, intelligent, disciplined, aggressive. They were hard-nosed, persistent, stifling, opportunistic. The Miami defense was the backbone of the Dolphins dynasty of the early 70s and helped lead them to 3 straight Super Bowls, including a perfect season in 1972. Still, no member of this unit is in the Hall of Fame. In fact, it was made up of a group of players so anonymous, they became known as the No-Names.
I think someone just wrote about the fact that they analyzed the defense, but as they looked around, they said it's really a no-name defense. And I think at first the players sort of resented it, but after a while, it sort of became sort of an affection for them. They really felt good about it. And matter of fact, I remember someone took a picture and put it on a poster, and it said, the no-name defense, can you recognize these players? And it had us wearing masks, little Lone Ranger masks.
The most famous, make that the least unknown of the group, was linebacker Nick Bonaconte, though he hardly fit the mold of a premier defender.
He was too small, and he wasn't fast, you know. And right now, if he were coming out of college and all of his stats were in the computer, I guarantee you he would be a reject. He would never get a chance to come to an NFL camp. But the thing that you can't measure with a computer is heart. That's what Bonaconte had. Plus, he had this tremendous leadership ability. He wouldn't stand for anything but best effort. He wouldn't tolerate mistakes by his teammates, and he never made any mistakes himself.
Following Bonaconte's lead were defensive ends Bill Stanfill, number 84, and Vern Dan Herder, number 83, as well as tackles Bob Heinz and number 75, ferocious Manny Fernandez. But overall, the Dolphins weren't quite as physical as they were tactical. Defensive coordinator Bill Arnsparger was a mastermind who brought about the advent of situation substitution with the 53 defense, named for its key component, number 53, linebacker Bob Matheson.
The 53 defense shows the brilliance of Bill Arnsparger. I think we ended up with a defensive lineman short, and Matheson was the biggest linebacker we had. So Bill puts him up on the end of the line and says, well, we'll rush him.
Arnsparger's use of a linebacker as a pass rusher revolutionized pro football and befuddled every offense the Dolphins faced.
The whole idea to our defensive scheme was to keep the offense off guard, to not let them know who was coming or where they're coming from, so that they would make a mistake.
Equally as frustrating for opponents was Miami's nearly impenetrable secondary, where number 40, Dick Anderson, Lloyd Mumford, Curtis Johnson, and number 13, Jake Scott, skillfully disguised their zone coverages and rarely made an error in judgment.
Bill Arnsparger said, in the year that we went undefeated, we made 13 mental mistakes the entire year. That is incredible.
Miami made its opponents pay dearly for every mistake. Yet perhaps no play better illustrates the Dolphins' defensive teamwork than a Dick Anderson interception against the Colts in the 1971 AFC Championship.
It was a 62-yard return where our defensive players made 7 perfect blocks. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There were Colts just laying on the ground, and all I had to do was run around them. Funny story about that is Nick Bonaconte keeps telling me that, you know, I was so slow that he went out and got a hot dog, and I came back, I was still running, and I said, that's because you're the only one that didn't make a block.
They say that nobody's perfect, but in the early 70s, the Dolphins' defense marched in near precision. They were heroes whose identities remained a mystery. And to this day, we still wonder, just who were those masked men? Individually, they weren't any names, but together they were the no-names.
We didn't mind that term at all. We didn't have any stars on that team. We had a lot of great individuals that played as a group, and yeah, we wore that as a badge.
Let's see if they bring it. The 30. That's what you want to see, Cameron Wake, the ex-Canadian star. Right side of the Jet offensive line. Pass protection, he has no chance with help from Bilal Powell. That is a punishing impact. River Folk barely made that last field goal of 45 yards.
My vision is a bunch of hard-nosed guys that go out every day and they are ultra competitive. I want us playing on our toes and we're going forward and we're going through you. That's the mentality.